Everyone uses ahi or yellowfin tuna for poke, but what about reef fish? We speared 4 different species to test which fish makes the best poke, and the winner was totally unexpected. Let's go! Today, I'm diving with a literal legend, Chef Kale. He's got 85,000 followers on Instagram and owns the famous Kale's Hale. But he's not just a renowned chef, he's an absolute sniper in the water too. We're taking the fish back to his kitchen to rank the poke. Yes! So we hopped in the water, and first thing I do is load my bands and take a drop. And when I get down to the bottom, I notice a bunch of fish, and especially the opelucalas. And these are a type of unicorn fish, and they taste pretty good. And there's some decent size in front of me, but I wanted to see if there were any other fish that might come in. This is my first drop of the day, so I'm just kind of scanning to see, what kind of fish are around. I see a bunch of manini, some palanis, but mainly I'm just stretching out my lungs. But first drop of the day, I'm not really seeing anything I want to shoot, so I just go up for air. And then I see my friend Chef Kale, and I'm at the surface just spotting him, and I spot an uhu that he's lining up. Boom, and he lands one. And so I take a drop to make sure he doesn't need a backup shot. And I check and see, and I realize that it's a solid holding shot. And so Chef Kale, he's been so busy. He said this was his first dive in over a year, but he still got it and lands this beautiful red uhu.
Good job, bro.
Out of shape.
That's a good shot. I seen the Uber from the top. I was like, oh shoot, he's coming in.
So it's my turn. I take a drop and I get to the bottom, and I notice there's actually 2 good-sized uhus, one male and one female, and I want to see if I can try to land one. And I'm not really in the best hiding spot, and right here it kind of gives me an opportunity, but I wanted to make sure that I get a good, really high percentage shot. The worst thing you can do is really injure a fish. And so I try to hide my body in this little crevice in the reef to see if I can call them in, but they're not really having it, and I don't end up seeing them. So I just go back up for air. So next drop of the day, once I get to the bottom, I notice, there's a decent sized uhu in the back. And so I'm trying to see if I can land them. And right here, it ends up coming in pretty close. Boom, landed. My first fish of the day, and like I said, we're gonna be making some poke, so I was stoked about this one. Okay, so next drop of the day, getting down to the bottom, and I notice the biggest uhu I've seen in my life. And this one's a male because of the colors, and you can tell because it's blue. And so you see it, I'm lining up, but kind of gets spooked. And so I'm trying to hide underneath this reef so that I don't look super visible, and trying to see if I can call it in. And usually it helps if you scratch the reef or dust up some sand, but here I think I'm just relaxing on the bottom to see if, it might come in. And right here gives me a shot, but boom, it gets spooked again. And so any sort of small movements can really scare off the fish, so you just have to be really calm under the water. And so I ran out of breath, and so I go up for some air, and this honu or turtle gives me a little game plan. And so I go back down again, and once I get down to the bottom, I realize I have to be even more hidden than before, so I pretty much put my entire body in this cave. And immediately you can see that the uhu just starts to get more curious and comes in. Perfect shot right in between his gills. and this was the biggest uhu I've ever landed. It ended up just being over 11.6 pounds, and yeah, I was so happy I was able to land this one. Such a beautiful fish too. Just with any fish, you first want to bleed it and brain it immediately so the meat quality tastes good, and gut it as soon as possible, ideally in the water if you can. Yeah, such a beautiful fish. So next drop of the day, I get down to the bottom and I noticed that there's a lot of the invasive toao, which are the invasive blacktail snappers that were introduced in Hawaii back in 1950s. And so anytime I see them, I try to take them off the reef, and they also taste great, so it's a win-win. And I was trying to pick out the biggest toao, and this one comes right up to my gun. Landed, or I thought I landed it, and then it gets stuck right into this reef, and I didn't have enough air, so I went up for air to regroup and come back down. And this is kind of the hardest part about spearfishing. Sometimes the line gets tangled in the reef, and so here I'm trying to untangle it while making sure I don't get stuck. And it happened to be kind of more of a complicated tangle, and so I'm trying my best, and then I realized, oh shoot, I have to go on the other side to kind of untangle it. And then I noticed that it was stuck on this reef, and so I loosened it and then kind of put the toao through the hole, and I was able to luckily secure the toao for poke number 2. Yes, sir. So at this point, we caught a few different fish, and so we want to check out our new zone, so we just get back on the boat. And once we get to the new zone, my friend Chef Kale actually ends up spotting this good-sized taco, or he thought it was good size, and so he takes a poke and he tries to tickle him out right here. Tries to poke him out, and it just happened to be a little bit too small, so we just let him go to let him grow. And so I take a drop here, and once I get to the bottom, immediately I see a bunch of uhus again. But today I've already shot 2 and I don't need any more, and actually that's the daily limit per day. And so this one I could have easily taken, but I wanted to see if there's anything else that might come in. And I see a bunch of maninis and some maikoikos, but yeah, nothing I really want to shoot, so just go back up for air. And then the last drop of the day, I end up seeing a lot of nanuis, and my friend said he makes the best poke with nanuis, so I wanted to try it, and so I end up taking a shot on this nanui. Boom, landed. And these guys fight actually really hard for kind of their size, and they can get pretty big, but this one happened to be pretty small. And once I bring them up to the surface, the most important thing with nanuis is they have a very strong limu or seaweed flavor, especially if you don't gut them immediately. And so one thing I've learned is gut, bleed, and brain immediately, and the fish will actually taste really great. And yeah, stoked about this fish too. We had a pretty solid haul that day, and I ended up just giving away the big uhu to my friend because I know he likes it a lot. And so I ended up just keeping the smaller one for the poke, and I also caught a few menpachis that we're going to use for the poke.
Oh!
And then my friend went fishing the other day and got this good sized Otaru. It's a skipjack tuna, and yeah, he ended up cutting them up, and he ended up giving me a slice. And so this is going to be fish number 4 for the poke. Today. You know. I say that because
Just wipe that thing off with a paper towel and you get pure fucking oil sheen.
All right.
Make some poke.
What do you think makes good poke?
Fresh fish. Simple seasonings.
Yeah, I mean, if it's fresh, I don't like to add sauces to it because you
Yeah.
can't. I feel like sauces just kind of mask the flavor, you know?
Yeah. I have trouble. I mean, I'll do it. I'll chef it up, but I hate working with frozen ahi. The texture is off.
Yeah.
The flavor is off. I hate it. So you need to put a lot of sauce.
Yeah.
Right? Shoyu or mayo or spicy, whatever.
All right, the first fish is gonna be the uhu. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I've never had uhu poke before.
Yeah, it's been a while. The last time I had it, it was a little on the crunchy side because I think it was too fresh.
Yeah.
So I think this is a perfect one. This is from yesterday, right?
Yep, from
So I think
yesterday.
it will be good.
Show them this night though. Woohoo!
Limited edition. This is our poi pounder cleaver. I think this one is gonna be delicious.
Okay.
I think it is. Just by cutting it, I can tell like she's got a really good texture. Mm-hmm. It's fresh, but not too crunchy. It's not a competition who's bigger, but if it was,
How do you usually like to cook your toao?
I treat it the same way I would treat one uhu. So I steam, I fry, sweet sour, black bean. I love toao. I guess I love it too because we're doing something good for the reef, like cleaning up the invasives. So I enjoy hunting toao, fishing for toao, and then feeding the family with a toao.
Look how beautiful that is.
It's just gorgeous. You cannot beat fresh fish.
Chef Kale, what's your favorite way to cook menpachi or uhu?
Classic fried. I also will do every once in a while when my aunties request, we'll do a soup. I do a play on miso soup. So I actually start off by frying or searing the uhu. I add in a bunch of bok choy and mushrooms and then miso and some dashi. And then we turn it into soup and then you can put some somen noodles in there too. Ooh. It's excellent.
So my friend gave me this beautiful Otaru, probably like a 25-pounder. We're gonna make some poke with this, see how it tastes.
And then I'm removing bloodline and skin just because of the way it's cut.
What kind of poke are we gonna make with these 4 styles of fish?
So we're gonna make all the same, right? I'm thinking just Hawaiian style, limukohu, inamona, and then of course, a little bit later, we got onions and sesame oil that came to Hawaii.
Okay.
Oh, and then Hawaiian chili pepper. It's like 5 ingredients, and then pakai.
Simple is best with fresh fish. So what you adding in first?
We're gonna do sesame oil.
Sesame oil.
We're gonna do inamona. We're gonna do a little bit of kohu. Then we're gonna do a little bit of chili pepper. Just a touch of Hawaiian salt. Then we'll give this a toss. Because we're gonna finish with the Hawaiian salt. We don't wanna overmix. We'll put a little bit of white onion. Okay, now we're gonna taste to see where we're at. Oh boy!
Sample.
I'm gonna add in my sesame oil. Uhu, toao, and the uhu, also known as menpachi. Let's see what it's all about. It's actually really good.
That is really good.
I'm gonna get a piece of the toao. Still good, we're still good. Let's get a piece of this uhu. Just based on texture, the uhu and the uhu should a little firmer, a little crunchier.
Yeah.
Right? The toao, softer, a little bit more delicate. As far as flavor, the uhu, I think, is definitely the sweetest, right? The toao is the cleanest. The uhu has almost it has a little hint of like a fish.
Yeah, like the reef kind of flavor.
Yeah, but it's still very clean.
Yeah.
If I had to choose one of my favorites, I'd have to go with the toao. Yeah. What are you thinking? What are you thinking?
I really like the toao was really good. I think the uhu menpachi one was probably my favorite.
She good.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, a lot of work for the tiny fish, but
but she good. For just this, I gotta go with S tier toao. This is in a league of its own. Aku, fresh aku.
the texture is really good.
The texture is unbelievable.
Yeah.
The flavor, it's a robust aku flavor. This might be the best poke in the whole world right here. And what I heard from other fishermen, when they go to like California and Florida to fish for what we call aku, they said that their aku doesn't taste the same as this. They gotta tease Hawaiians for eating the aku. This aku is
Cannot beat it.
this is freaking delicious, man.
We don't waste any fish. Thanks for watching, guys. Woo!